Hey guys, this is Stacy and welcome back to Cosmic Life. I am going to dive into a very energetic week that we have ahead of us. I'm not going to lie, I had to make a lot of notes regarding the different energies that are going to play out. We have like a push-pull dynamic of the mutable energy versus the fixed energy. So you may find that, some of the changes that need to take place, you may be reluctant to implement them, or you may feel stuck, or it may feel like it requires a lot of energy to make the changes necessary. So let's unpack it. As I'm making this video on Sunday, we have Venus making a square to Jupiter, and Venus could be highlighting where we're doing things in excess, regarding love, money, creative projects, or even regarding aesthetics. So this could play out in, maybe you're doing a makeover and you're trying to change yourself too much, or you could be spending too much money, or trying to spend too much time with your partner and maybe neglecting family or friends or even your own needs. We also have the moon in Virgo making a trine to Uranus and Taurus. So that that could bring about some changeable emotions or an opportunity to make changes in something that needs more grounding, right? Because we have earth signs at play in this trine. The moon will stay in Virgo until Monday, and we'll see the moon make an opposition to Neptune in Pisces on Monday. And that's interesting because Pisces is a very, foggy, deep energy. And when you're talking about the moon opposing Neptune, there could be some confusing emotions that are stirred up, or unclear situations that could be brought to your awareness where you're questioning, what does this mean? Virgo, loves to have details about everything. And with the Virgo moon opposing Neptune, the details are definitely not going to be clear. You may have to, kind of figure your way through a maze, so to speak. And we have Mars also making a square to Jupiter. And again, looking at where we're taking too much action, where our passions are, are too much. We may be overdoing ourselves and putting too much effort into something that may not be giving us the expansion that we need. With Venus and Mars making these squares to Jupiter, it's making us question what it is that we're doing, that we're being driven to. And I talked about this last week where, it started playing out. Is this bringing expansion and opportunity for growth? Is this bringing good fortune to my life? Is this helping, the overall goals and, achievements that you want for yourself and for the people around you? Because you're talking about Aquarius, which is very group oriented. So we're seeing that energy still continue throughout this week. And on Tuesday, we're going to see Mars perfect the square to Jupiter. And it will stay in this square aspect for most of the week. We will see the moon at 15 degrees of Libra conjunct the south node. And the moon will also make a trine to Venus in Aquarius. So there's an opportunity to really look at, what it is with love, money, creative projects that speaks to you, and what doesn't speak to you. Because you're looking at moon conjuncting the south node, you have to release something, right? And it could be that you need to release your emotions about, maybe some unjust or unfairness in any kind of relationship, because we're talking about Libra here. It could be friendships, it could be love relationships, it could be work relationships. Where do you need to let go in order to bring more beauty within, the groups you're associating with, your community, the people that you keep around you. And it brings an opportunity to take a different approach. And we're also going to see an opposition to Chiron in the mix. So with the moon opposing Chiron, it's further, highlighting where our wounds have come into play and where things have been, that we've been possibly already working on healing, and where it is we're ready to let go. We may have already known where we need to let go, but with the moon conjuncting the south node opposing Chiron, we're ready to officially let go. We're also going to see Mercury Cazimi, the sun. So we may have a new idea or a new approach that we start to see glimmers of. And I say start to see glimmers of because Mercury is in detriment in Pisces. And Pisces is a very dreamy, it could be illusionary, energy. So we may not see everything that has to come into play with Mercury Cazimi, but we may start seeing bits and pieces of information that will help us in the long run. On Wednesday, we have a very dynamic day. We're going to see the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury all conjunct each other at 9 degrees of Pisces. And, that's a very serious energy because of Saturn in the mix. And it is a mutable sign. So I feel like this conjunction that's taking place, for one, whatever comes to your awareness, because we're talking about Mercury being involved here and the sun. So the sun is highlighting information with Mercury, right? And Saturn is an authority figure, or, Saturn could also bring the energy of time, and where we've been working with Saturn and Pisces on where we need to let go, endings that need to take place, spiritual work that needs to get done. So when you have these three conjuncting, there could be very serious conversations that need to take place, or information shared with authority figures of some sort in your life that you may have already been expecting. And I say that because there's no connection to Uranus, so it's not going to be a shock. And with Saturn involved, it could be something that has been it's been working in the background, or it's been, a long time coming, or something that, needs to be addressed to clear that, Pisces fog. And it may have something to do with what has transpired during the eclipse in October on the 14th, because we see the moon at 22 degrees of Libra, which was the eclipse point on October 14th. And that was a solar eclipse. So, something that may have began in October around that eclipse could be the focal point of this conversation taking place. And it may, it may require some hard work and effort with Saturn involved to handle what information is coming at you. But this could bring good results because Saturn gives results to where you've done the work. So if something started in October that you've been working through since then, if you've been doing the work correctly, Saturn will bring reward, right? At the same time that we have this energy playing out on Wednesday, we also see Venus making a quincunx in Aquarius to Juno retrograde in Virgo. And I know a lot of astrologers don't highlight asteroids, but Juno is a significant asteroid, and a lot of astrologers do talk about her, and I do like including her in the mix because Juno is all about our commitments and what we are focusing on in more so with our relationships. And Juno being in retrograde, this is playing out until mid-April, so right around when the solar eclipse happens, we see Juno finishing up its retrograde cycle. And with a quincunx, that aspect is very uncomfortable. So Juno in retrograde, you know, taking a deeper dive into what we're committed to in our relationships, and, you know, if our relationships are bringing us value, because it's in Virgo. You know, Virgo is, you know, very earthly and wants, you know, a stable footing on what it's investing its time and energy into. And making that quincunx to Venus is definitely going to be highlighting love. So there may be something very uncomfortable in the air about where our commitments may not be holding as much value as we want it to. And Venus is trying to take a new attitude towards, you know, what it is that it's trying to accomplish in Aquarius, right? Because we saw like a rebirth energy when Venus entered Aquarius and conjuncted Pluto, right? So there could be a very, you know, different energy that Venus is playing in Aquarius where it's like, well, that no longer resonates with me. And how do I need to address this change that needs to take place in my relationship, in my commitment? Because this is not really, it's not serving me anymore, right? And on Thursday, we're going to have Mercury make a sextile to Jupiter. And that will bring favorable developments because of the sextile being a favorable energy. It's, you know, it makes things easy. So there could be, you know, whatever information came to light with the Mercury, Saturn, and Sun conjunction the day before, there could be a way where things work out easier than you may have expected. It may have been heavy energy on Wednesday, you know, with all of these three energies conjuncting each other, and you may feel like, you know, fearful on Wednesday, but then things work out for the better on Thursday, you know. So that is, you know, a favorable outcome that's possible, because after Mercury makes a sextile to Jupiter, the Sun will also. So you're seeing, you know, favorable energy at play. So whatever is happening Wednesday, I wouldn't let it affect you too much or let it, you know, burden you, because Thursday the energy will be more favorable. So there could be, you know, a positive development to what's been in conversation. And it, you know, it will, I just want to reiterate, with Jupiter in the mix, the Sun and Mercury sextiling Jupiter could also be not just a favorable outcome, but something that, you know, you have been waiting for. You know, you may have been dealing with things that have been heavy, and you've been waiting for that change of luck, or, you know, something to finally release you from that burden. Okay. On Friday, we're going to see Venus in Aquarius square Uranus in Taurus. And again, this energy has been playing out, so we're seeing another reminder of where we're overdoing things. Maybe, the positive developments on Thursday could be getting you very excited, right? But you have to be careful not to overindulge. So maybe on Friday, you want to celebrate whatever good news transpired on Thursday, but I would be careful not to overdo it. Don't go out drinking all night long and, things of that nature. And with the sun in Pisces, it's going to sextile Jupiter, which will also bring us some hope and good feelings. So we see a very nice energy start to pick up come Thursday and into the weekend. However, there is one energy that's going to transpire that may kind of put a damper on things. And that is when the moon moves into Scorpio. The moon will eventually oppose Uranus and Taurus. And with the moon in Scorpio, things are deep. Scorpio is a very heavy energy. It goes into the depths of where you don't want to go. And Scorpio moon can bring up some fears and doubts and worries. So there may be something that, maybe you fear things are too good to be true, from the positive developments that are happening. And you could be at odds, like, can I trust this? Especially with it opposing Uranus and Taurus. It's like, can I trust what I feel in my emotions? And that'll bring the changes that Uranus likes to bring. Will those changes be stable? And with Uranus and Taurus, it is a stable, slow-moving energy. And the moon opposing Uranus and Taurus could also be triggering another reminder of our emotions, our deep emotions versus the values that we have regarding, Taurus is Venus ruled, so it's regarding love and money and creative projects. So you could be feeling very deeply triggered and questioning your emotions and what you're valuing. And that energy will play out through most of the weekend because the moon will be in Scorpio throughout the weekend. And with Juno retrograde, it's also going to be making an opposition to Mercury in Pisces and the sun in Pisces. So we're again taking a look at Juno retrograde. And that's why I brought her up, because, when there's strong connections, I think it's worthwhile, bringing it into the conversation. So with Juno retrograde opposing Mercury and the sun, again, we're taking a look at what information is being brought to light. With Mercury in detriment in Pisces, as I've been saying, things are not clear. The information's not clear. The communication is unclear. Someone may be very confused. So, with Juno retrograde opposing that, you could be feeling, like either you or your partner seems off, or you may be feeling confused about where they're at. Or you can be confused about what you want out of that partnership. And it could cause, some uncomfortable feelings of, okay, is this what I want? Is this giving me what I want? Am I seeing things clearly to make a decision on whether I should commit to this? And we're also seeing Venus make a sextile to Chiron. And so, that gives us the ability to to have an easier feeling of healing the love energy that we carry, as well as, what we're putting our energy into, right? We also see the sun sextile Jupiter. We see a lot of sextile energy, which I've mentioned in other videos that we're going to see a lot of this month. A lot of connections and conjunctions and sextiles. And so we're all being driven towards change in some way, shape, or form. And, it's funny because as the sun is sextiling Jupiter, Saturn is about a degree away from also sextiling Jupiter. And it never perfects. So, Saturn is slow moving and Jupiter is fast moving. And the fact that it never perfects a sextile is very interesting. So, the sun sextiling Jupiter brings a lot of hope and optimism, and Saturn is also showing, it's like Saturn is shining a light on, okay, you're doing the work, you're doing a great job, but you're not quite there yet. That's what that, the lack of perfection in that sextile says to me. You're on the right track, you're seeing, some results, but you're not quite finished, right? And Mars was making a semi-sextile to Mercury and Pisces. So, there's an understanding there of what you're putting your passion and your energy into, and, what you may need to communicate outwardly, or the information that you're trying to see, and I say trying to see because, we're working with Pisces energy. So, there's a lot of ability for, things to change. This is very mutable energy. So we have the sun, Saturn, and Mercury and Neptune all in Pisces, a mutable sign. And mutable signs are very adaptable. They're, resilient, and they're very prone to make changes. And they're able to follow through with those changes. But we also have that fixed energy with Taurus and Aquarius. And so, and with the moon in Scorpio, it's a struggle. There's the ability to make changes, and then there's, where we've been stuck. And where changes don't come easily. So, it may be that you want changes to take place in certain areas of your life, but it's not coming easy. You got to put a lot of work and effort into it. And to finish out the week, we have Juno retrograde opposing the sun in Pisces, and Mars in Aquarius doing a sextile to the North Node. I spoke a little bit already about Juno opposing these Pisces energies. So again, things are unclear about, our relationship visions, what we're committed to, the details about our commitments may be unclear. We may not know what we're getting ourselves into, right? And with Mars beginning a sextile to the North Node in Aries, we could be triggered to take action. Mars is very action-oriented. The North Node is drawing our attention and our focus into the Aries part of our chart. But it's all about the self. So, what actions do you need to take to honor yourself and where you're at? And with Aquarius being involved, with Mars and Aquarius, you may need to break free from a group in order to honor yourself or honor what it is you're trying to accomplish. And as this energy is at play, Venus is perfecting a square to Uranus. So, again, magnifying what needs to change, where we may be overdoing things or overdoing things to a point where it may not be healthy for you. So we have a lot coming up on what it is we're doing and where it is we're being driven towards and where we may be overdoing things. And there's a lot of hope in the air because there's a lot of connections to Jupiter this week. So I want to, highlight that because that is positive. Whatever may be unclear, whatever may feel heavy, there's reasons to have hope for changes to come. You may be able to start seeing some favorable results. But you have to be able to face off where it is you may have gone astray. And I believe if you do that, these energies will come easier. So it's just a week. We can get through this, whatever challenges come our way, whatever we need to let go of, and whatever, needs to be worked through, we can get through it. And we have more favorable energy coming in. It is Pisces season. It's a mutable time. Change is definitely favorable during this time. And we do have eclipse season coming at the end of the month. Well, at the end of March. So again, change is around the corner. So we're just in preparation mode right now, essentially. I hope this video was insightful for you and will help you navigate the week ahead. If you did like it, please feel free to share your thoughts and comment, subscribe, like, share the video with others. It would be great to help the YouTube algorithm. If you want to find me on Instagram, you can find me at Cosmic Life Astrology. And with that, I hope you have a great week. Thanks, everyone.